Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the love video hop. I am going to be creating a layout using a shaker pocket or a sequin pocket that I created using page protectors in my fuse tool. And if you want to see how I created the shaker pockets, you can check video. I'll link it below in the description. Otherwise, it is actually the video right before this one on my channel. But I wanted to start out with a white background, but I didn't want, when you see through the shaker element, I didn't want it to be white. So what I did was I used this, I think this is from, gosh, who made this piece? I got it at Tuesday Morning, this little heart shape, and I'm using it as a stencil. And I'm just tracing those hearts with a black pen. And I'm going to go back when I'm finished with this, and I'm going to watercolor using my real brush markers. Unfortunately, my phone stopped videoing for a moment, and I got a call and it turned it off on accident. And so you're not going to see me watercoloring, but basically what I did is just use a watercolor brush and the markers, the real brush markers, and chose some colors that I felt would complement the sequin mix that I used in the heart. So there you see is my my shaker heart, or my sequin pocket heart. And I'm going to make a border that's going to go around that heart to kind of cover up the seam. And I'm going to end up using a black and white stripe from my stash. Before that, I was kind of just lining up my pocket, my photo, to see where I might need more hearts. And because I didn't want them just to be under the heart, I wanted them to expand out. So what I'm doing is making kind of a diagonal design with those stenciled and painted hearts. So here they are, all painted, and I apologize that you didn't get to see that. However, it really was simple, just like coloring in a coloring book. I did not make it real neat. I kind of wanted it to be messy, just because the whole layout is kind of messy. It's a hand-cut heart, and nothing on this layout is really precise, so I didn't want those hearts to be perfect either. So here I'm attaching the frame that I cut out for the heart, and that is just simply to bring a little bit more definition to that heart shape. And I'm going to end up using my sewing machine, and I'm going to sew around that as well, which that's just going to provide another seal besides the fused seal that I used to keep all of those sequins and wood veneer pieces inside. So in the sequin heart itself, it's made up of a couple sequins mixes from Spiegel Mom Scraps. And then there's a love wood veneer piece that came from one of the sequin mixes, and then a bunch of different size of wood veneer hearts in there as well. So this video hop, we were to use hearts on our layout and use a picture that kind of defined love and explain what, just tell a story about the picture. So as I'm finishing up the sewing here, the picture I chose is a photo, which you'll see here shortly, of my husband and one of our dogs, Bailey. We call her Boo Boo. And she is 7 or 8 years old. And we all are dog people in my house, but my husband especially, oh my goodness, does he love his dogs. We have 2 dogs, and Bailey is the oldest of the 2. And he has such a special relationship with these animals. I mean, I love them to death as well, but it's a really fun relationship to watch. It is like one of his kids for sure. So I just absolutely loved this photo, and it just really showed to me the love that he has for her and the love that she has for him in the photo. And you'll see close-ups of the photo at the end as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of time to figure out how I'm going to embellish this, because there's not much I want to do. And I decided on just doing basically 2 very small clusters just around the photo. I considered putting a cluster up at the top, and you see I have something there that I have laid out there, but that's going to go away. In the end, what I felt was, by taking anything away from the photo and the center large, heart pocket, was going to be drawing your eye away from what I wanted people to see. In this instance, I don't really need you to move around the page. I want your eye to stay on the page. So that is why you'll see at the end, I do put a black border, around it. But I really felt it was important to keep all of the embellishments very closely together and have them centered around the photo. And I used nothing but my stash on this one. I have a basket here that I'm going through, and I have a couple of these types of items, but this basket has just, if I cut something out and I don't end up using it on a layout, or I have a few extra embellishment pieces, I'll throw them in this basket, and then eventually I get around to going through the basket and separating them into colors, which I do have little iris cases that are divided by color in case I'm looking for a particular color element for one of my clusters. In this case, I didn't know what I was looking for, so I wanted to just pull that out first. Then I have this little drawer decor piece that I have kind of the same thing, but they're kind of separated out into different elements, so it's not one big hodgepodge mess. And I decided I wanted to use circles as part of my embellishment cluster. I knew I had found one piece I knew that I wanted to use, which was from a Paige Evans 12 by 12 paper, and it says "Life is Good." And that did bring a little bit of gold into the mix. So I end up finding a gold circle that has a white ampersand. And then I just put this wood veneer piece up that I got in a click kit, and it says "Hello Happiness." And I thought, this is when I was thinking about putting a cluster up there. But when I put that up there in the corner, my eye kept getting drawn to that piece. And I was like, nope, that's not going to work. I want my eye to stay on the photo and to stay on the sequins, not get drawn away from the photo up to the top of the page. So I end up removing that, and I am going to use it though, and it says "Hello Happiness," and I am going to use that as one of my clusters at the bottom. And then I'm going to keep roaming through all of my stash. I'm going to minimally layer this with just a pink, it looks like a paint swatch card, and I think that is from a crepe paper collection. And then I found a blue piece of paper in my my scraps bin that really matched pretty well the blue and the sequins that are in the heart. So I really liked how that tied it in, and yeah, it's really going to come together super, super quick after this. Another piece that I used was this new, it's kind of like flare, but it's not. They're kind of like, if I can explain it, it's kind of like puffy flare. They're called epoxy flares, but they're kind of soft, a soft epoxy. And it's by a company called Scrappin' Happy Studio. And she has some of the cutest designs and flares. One thing I love, they are not metal. They will not rust. I've had to throw away so much flare because it has rusted. And I love this. And then the other thing I love about these epoxy flares is that they are not really super dimensional. You could easily use them in a traveler's notebook. scrapbook layouts even on a card, and I love that about these. I received one in a that I'm going to be doing for a collaboration with Scrap and Happy Studio and Spiegel Mom Scraps design team coming up here at the end of February. And since I received that, I've placed 2 more orders. So anyway, I would suggest following her on Instagram, Scrap and Happy Studio. She recently had a birthday sale where all of her heart-shaped flares were half off. And that's when she sucked me in to place another order. So I'm finishing up these clusters, and on the left side of the photo, I did add a tag and a little banner piece, and I'm going to go ahead and put a little puffy heart, yellow heart on that. And that is going to be it. I'm trying to figure out where to place my photo. I want to make sure that that there's at least 2 hearts showing below the photo. I don't know why that was important to me, but it was. I didn't want to have just the one big pink heart. I wanted to have 2 of them, so I made sure I raised the photo up enough to show that. So anyway, while I'm working on this, I wanted to let you know, please check my description box below. There are a bunch of crafty ladies who are joining in on this hop, and I would love for you to follow along, give them some love, some thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to their channels, definitely want to do that as well. If you haven't subscribed to mine, I would certainly love for you to do that. I'm trying my best to get up 2 videos a week. It's harder than I thought these days, but that is my goal. And so hopefully I can raise that even more and maybe, get up to 3 videos a week. We'll see. But like I said, it's a great group of ladies. It's all based on heart themes. So if you want to get some ideas or inspiration on using hearts for some of your Valentine's layouts, or this isn't Valentine's, but it just shows you can use that heart motif on almost anything. So typically we are scrapbooking about things we love, right? So why not use a heart? So hopefully you'll get lots of information also from the ladies above, or ladies below. And at the end of my video, you will see some close-up still shots as well. But this photo, I have to tell you a quick story. My husband often takes the dogs out for a run on a mountain bike path that we go on, and they'll run along him and my kids as they ride their bikes. This dog loves the water. She loves to jump in the water, and she loves to chase frogs. And one day, my husband could not get her to get out of the water, and they were getting ready to leave. So he took a stick, like wasn't a huge log, but enough that he would make a big enough splash to try to get her attention to bring her back in. And he had the best aim ever and hit her in the head with the log and knocked her out. Oh my goodness. This man of mine, he jumped in that water in the lake, picked her up. She was fine. It just kind of knocked her out, but it was horrible. He felt terrible for days and days and days. I know that's not a loving, heartfelt story, but oh my goodness, I just had to share it because it was horrible, but oh, we are so glad. But this is how much he loves this dog. He jumped it. It took him not a half a second to put his bike down and jump into that lake and get her out of there. But she's so sweet. She's been with us, like I said, for 7 or 8 years, and we rescued her, and she's been the best dog ever. We are huge rescue dog people. In fact, all of our dogs, which she would be number 2, we have rescued all of them, and they have all been the best pets and family members we could ever ask for. But I just love this picture of them. It really captures their relationship for sure. So once I finish up all the embellishments, I'm going to give this a quick splatter with some Heidi Swap black ink. And I'm going to be attaching this to some black cardstock so that it gives it somewhat of a place for your eye to stop. And because it was kind of, you know, hand-drawn like looking hearts, hand cut out heart for the frame, I wanted to roughen up the edges a little bit. Oh, and you'll see here, I'm just using scissors to cut this down. I did not want it to be perfect. I just wanted it to have that hand-cut, hand-drawn look. And so that's why I just used the scissors to cut that out rather than use my trimmer. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that, and then I'm going to kind of rough up the edges all the way around. And I still felt it needed something a little bit to finish off the edge. So after I ruffled it up, I took a black pen and I just went along kind of the edge, you know, around the little torn up edges with a black pen and finished it off that way. And I love, love, love how it turned out. This is something very different for me, but I really love, probably my favorite part. Of course, I love the sequins. I love the big sequin pocket. I've never done one this big, but I love it. But I love the watercolored hearts behind it. I just think it gives it enough of a subtle interest without overtaking anything, and it complements the sequin mix so well. So I wanted to thank you guys again for coming back to my channel and just for all of your support. If you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below. I love to hear from you. And if you have any suggestions of techniques or types of layouts that you would like to see, leave the link below. And give me your thoughts. I'm considering starting a weekly series of basic mixed media. I have got so many paints and shimmers and sprays and gesso and modeling paste and stencils and all of these things that I'm just not using enough. So comment below and let me know if this is something that you would like to see on my channel. It would not be anything fancy because I'm super basic with mixed media, but something that maybe you and I can learn together, learn some things along the way. But that is something I'm considering of starting in March, is a weekly series doing mixed media and kind of using all of your artsy materials on your layout. So I hope you all enjoyed this process. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and I hope to hear from you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye.